A lot going on. I do want to, before we get into the nitty-gritty here, I do want to just welcome Ambassador Carrie Cavanaugh, who's the director of the Patterson School of Diplomacy and International Commerce of the University of Kentucky, and he's here with some of his students. Hi, guys. Welcome to the State Department. And with that, I will welcome your questions.
Can we start with Burma?
We can start with Burma.
Or Myanmar, if you will.
Start with Burma.
Can you just talk about the trip and what the Secretary's goals will be and what she hopes to see happen, what you hope to see happen over the next few weeks and months?
I can't, just in the your first part of your question is, we're going to have more details about Secretary Clinton's agenda in the coming days. So I'm going to have to take a rain check on providing a lot of details. You obviously heard what the President said earlier, and that based on what he termed as flickers of progress that we've seen over the past month or so in Burma, that we feel that it's an appropriate time to send the Secretary of State there and visit Burma, and she'll be the first Secretary of State to visit that country in over half a century. So that alone is very significant. But our goal remains a Burma that is both responsive to the will and needs of its people.
But the President also said that a lot more needs to be done. So why was this time specifically chosen as the right time to make this historic kind of revival of diplomacy?
It's a fair question. I think, as the President said, that we had seen, some movement, and that we felt that it was an important moment of opportunity here to take advantage of, to try to engage the government. We've been clear all along that we expect to see more out of Burma, but again, this is an opportunity that we believe has presented itself to go there, obviously talk with the opposition, talk with Aung San Suu Kyi, and also discuss with the government ways that we can move this process forward.
And then just last one.
Yeah.
Can you talk concretely about the things you'd like to see? You said you expect to see more. What types of things are we talking about? I know you've spoken about them in the past, but...
Well, also, I just want to go back. You talked about why now and what we've seen, and I referred to flickers of progress. And just let me be very clear at some of those. We've seen a dialogue between the government and Aung San Suu Kyi that's begun. We also have seen the release of some political prisoners, and we've seen the relaxation of some of the media restrictions. And also, there's legislation that's been approved that we believe could open the political environment even more. What we want to see is the release of all political prisoners, and we want to see amended electoral laws. We want to see an opening of the political system there that allows for free and fair elections, and we want to, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for an opening up of the political space.
So she'll present a detailed list to our counterparts over there.
I'm sorry?
She will present those in a detailed list to our counterpart.
Again, none of these are particularly new items on our agenda with Burma, so they're well aware of what we're looking to see, and again, our goals are always, as I said, we want to see a Burma that's responsive to the needs of its people.
And
so
what incentives
this is not a U.S. agenda. This is, we believe, an agenda that's in the interest of the Burmese people.
And what incentives will she offer them?
Well, again, this conversation has just begun. In one sense, we've begun to see, some improvement. I mentioned what we've seen that we term progress, but we want to see a lot more. So, this is a conversation that's just beginning.
Some of you're sending the Secretary of State, the President sending the Secretary of State. Burma was just made chair of ASEAN. They're getting a lot already for what seems to be actually on the ground very minimal. A lot of promises and the release of a few dozen political prisoners when hundreds are still in jail. What possible incentive could they have now? They're already getting everything, based on the sort of promise of reform. Why are they going to follow through now?
Well, I don't necessarily think that's a fair characterization. I think we've been quite clear all along that we're not going to take additional steps until we see further signs of reform. The decision to send the Secretary of State there is to, as I said to Brad, is to seize what we believe is a moment of opportunity and try to build on, again, these flickers of progress that we've seen. In terms of ASEAN and the chairmanship, that's a decision for the ASEAN members to make. We've said all along that, we think it's important that any chair of ASEAN be able to promote the values of the organization, including democracy and regional stability.
I have a sort of technical question.
Yeah.
When the secretary arrives there, is she going to be saying she's happy to arrive in Burma or happy to arrive in Myanmar? I mean, their official name for the country is Myanmar. That was what is in the 2008 Constitution.
I think to that I'll say that Secretary Clinton will be respectful of all parties and mindful of all of sensitivities regarding this particular issue. But with regard to the name, it's longstanding U.S. policy to refer to the country as Burma.
And why is that, Mark?
What is
the reason for that?
Well, because we believe that any change in the name of a country should be a decision for the Burmese people to make.
They made that decision, and the NLD signed on to it when they agreed to the 2008 Constitution, which says that the name of the country is Myanmar.
We don't believe. We still believe it's a decision for the Burmese people. We don't believe it was valid.
It sounds like the green light for the visit was from Aung San Suu Kyi. The president called her, and it sounds like that Aung San Suu Kyi has the power to say yes or no.
Well, I think she's, clearly an important interlocutor, and so, her opinion was important.
But she was the decisive.
Again, I would just say that she was an important person to talk to before we made any kind of decision like that.
I guess this question is, had she said no, this is the wrong time, would the president
I'm not going to get into speculation. Right.
I'll just follow it in a different way, if I can put it.
Yeah.
She has been waiting for 20 years. Her government was elected democratically by the people of Burma, and she was thrown out by the military dictatorship. One, what is her future, and also what is the future of the man who overthrew her? And how can you say when Secretary goes there, when she meets with her, that where she stands on Suu Kyi? I mean, that's what I meant. I mean, are you going to, or somebody there going to install her back, her government back, which she had been waiting for 20 years?
Look, let's really not get ahead of where we're at. President said we've seen flickers of progress. He detailed, some of the movement that we feel has been made on the part of the government, these steps towards reform. And we're sending Secretary of State Clinton there. He's sending Secretary of State Clinton there to follow up on these first steps and to see if we can build on them.
And finally, whatever happened in Burma, as far as the military dictatorship was concerned, it was getting help and support from the Chinese government, from China. So now, where does you think China stands as far as the democracy in Burma is?
I'd refer you to the Chinese government. Go ahead, Saeed.
On Burma?
Burma, go ahead.
Do you believe that your policy of engagement is yielding results? And secondly, at what stage do you think you would be able to lift sanctions on economic sanctions?
To your second question, we're just not at a point where we can evaluate that. We're at an initial stage here. We're going to continue the conversation that Derek Mitchell and others have been having. Obviously, by sending the secretary there, it's an important step forward, but we're just not at a stage to evaluate that. On your first step about our policy of principled engagement is what you're talking about. For many months, I heard a lot from this room about how that policy was a failure. Let's take this one step at a time. That remains our policy towards Burma, and so we're just heartened by these steps that we've seen, and hope that the Burmese government takes additional steps.
A couple more. You said you're not yet at a stage where you can begin to assess whether or not to lift sanctions. Is that right? That you haven't even considered the possibility of lifting sanctions?
Look, I just think we're at a stage where we're still assessing the level and scope of reform that's underway in Burma.
And
so
I understand
it's premature.
that there are some changes have already been made. That there was a ban on high-level visits for one, which this presumably means is no longer in place. What changes have already happened in our level of restrictions with the contact with Burma since this engagement began?
That's a fair question. I'll have to take it and get an answer for you. I mean, because I'm not sure if any, as you said, if some of the steps that we've taken would have somehow negated, but
Or violated.
Easy, Andy.
Logistically, how long would it take to remove the sanctions that are in place? How long does that process usually take?
It's a process that's legal in nature, so I don't think it's an overnight. I don't think it's something that can be done from one day to the next. But
them have to come from Congress, isn't it?
well,
A congressional
that's
decision?
very true as well. So I don't have details on what the process is for lifting those
But
sanctions.
you haven't had any discussions at this point about either with Congress or with...
To my knowledge, no.
Is Secretary going to invite the new Prime Minister of Burma?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you
Is
asked.
Secretary going to invite him to the U.S.?
Let's wait for the visit to happen.
China is a key partner of Burma. Did the U.S. consult China on Burma, the latest development of Burma?
Did we consult with them on this visit, or did we consult with them on Burma?
On the visit.
The president just met with his Chinese counterpart. I'm not aware of what was on their list of topics. I can imagine they might have touched on Burma. I refer you to the White House for a readout. Yeah, go ahead, Sam.